Welcome to Tony's Bonsai. Today I'm back on the Windswept style hawthorn. It needs to have some pruning and some wires manipulated, so let's get stuck in. I began styling this tree into the Windswept form, I think it was late last year. It's had a good growing season, everything's going really well, but now it's time to cut some of these branches back a bit. Of all the branches, I've got one up here at the top that's definitely the thickest, most vigorous growing. It's got lots of branches further along. So I'm trying to turn this kind of into the main apex of the tree. I've spun the tree round so you can see the back where I made quite a large cut a few months ago. And it's beginning to callus over, it's healing up nicely. So I'm not going to do anything with these branches above the callus. And I'm not going to do anything with this apex, which is this one, because I want this to thicken up. So all of these three are just out of the equation. Leave those for another year to help callus over this wound. It's the other branches that I need to do some work on, particularly these two, which are quite thick. These nice lower branches are nice and thin. They want some wire applying just to add some extra shape into them, but basically they're in pretty good positions. They're a nice thickness, so I can kind of leave those. These are lovely branches which have had wire applied. They've got some marking to them, but that's fine. They're healing over nicely. But they're both quite thick in relation to the trunk, and I don't want them to thicken too much. They've both got some nice branches coming off them, and so I'm going to take them back like that. And this one actually forks into two, so I'll take each of these forks back. Underneath this main trunk we've got a really nice branch here. It's got some taper to it at the base, like a kind of muscle underneath holding it to the tree, which is nice. I've wired some good shape into it, but all of the length of this is not needed. So all I'm going to do is cut this back. Likewise, we've got a nice branch here. It comes up and then dips down, so that's some nice movement there. And again, it's too long, so I'll leave this one a touch longer. I'll cut that back there. In fact, it's pretty much the same length as this one. That's fine. Yeah, that works well. Looking from the back of the tree, we've got this sucker which has grown this year. I don't know, is it called a sucker when it's that high up? I don't know, but anyway, it's grown here. I did cut it off up here at some point, I think. Yeah. But I need to put some movement into this one. This is the only one that's sort of crying out to have something done with it. So I'll apply some wire to that and tell you about what I've been up to these last few days and why there's been no videos posted. I've actually been over in the Peak District with some friends doing some landscape photography, which was fantastic. I'm a really keen landscape photographer. I have been for the last 10 years. In fact, I used to be a professional photographer, shooting weddings, but also running landscape photography workshops, teaching people how to take better photographs. So it was really nice being out with the camera again, with some good friends, having a laugh, and I got some quite nice pictures, I think. They were a bit arty, some of them were a bit arty-farty, but that's kind of my style. I think I'll do a video on photography at some point, photographing trees, but the wire's applied now, and like the other branches, I want to get some nice shape into this. I'd like this branch to be a little different, so I don't just want it to come out and across like a boring windswept. I want this one to come out like that. Then I think I'll bring it up like that, and if I can, I think what I'll do is, so I've kind of come up, across, and then up again, which is quite interesting. Not particularly radical, but that's not bad. And then down before finally coming back up. How much of this will stay in the final design, I don't know. I may well end up cutting this back as I've just cut those other branches back, but for the time being I think that's quite interesting. From this angle you can see the shape that I've just applied to this branch, which is fairly interesting, and hopefully that will become quite an interesting part of the tree. I've just applied a fairly thin piece of wire to these two branches. These have been wired previously, so I wired them in the same direction, but I avoided the scar lines, so I didn't go in the old scars. I'm sort of going in the gaps in between. This one's pointing fairly straight out from the tree, so it's quite simple. This one, I just want to firstly bring that round, but I've just decided actually it's better to work on this other branch first. I put the camera level with this branch so that you can kind of see what I'm doing, and the idea is to bring this one down before then bringing it up. So I really want to kind of get that down and then up movement into this branch. I think that works well, and that's the reason that I wanted to do this one first. I'm also bringing it towards the camera as well, so it comes round down but also towards, and that makes space for me now to bend this other branch. So with this branch here out of the way, I can now focus on this one, and I want to bring this round towards the camera and then back in the windswept style, pushing out with the direction of the tree. It's very hard to see, but from a slightly higher view now hopefully you can see that it's coming across, down and away, and this previous one that I bent is coming sort of down and away. So that's the kind of movement I'm going for with these branches. I think it looks good. It's got a lovely shape to it, this tree. I'm really happy with how this is developing sort of into that windswept style, and I'm looking forward to working on this over the coming years. If you'd like to follow the progression of this tree, you know what to do, and as always, thanks for joining me and have a great day. See you soon.